everybody, welcome to today's video. Today I'm going to be taking a look at the Hot Toys 1/6 scale Superman figure based on the 1978 film starring Christopher Reeve. I want to start off by saying that this is not the sideshow collectible version. This is what's referred to as the normal version, which means that it does not include the chunk of kryptonite on a chain. But to be honest with you, I'm okay with that. I'm more concerned about having the figure. Now, as you can see, the box just by itself is a great display piece. And actually, that's one of the complaints that I've seen several other reviewers have, is that the box is just too big, it's too cumbersome. It makes a great display piece, but in practicality, unless you really have the room to display this, it's just a big box for holding a collectible figure. The artistry of the box is incredible, but it's just not really practical because it is just so enormous. And to give you an idea of exactly how big this box is, this is my Darth Vader from Kotobukiya from Star Wars Episode 3. So this box is massive, but it's obvious that Hot Toys wanted to honor the film and Christopher Reeve, so they came up with this really grand design for the box. But enough about the box, let's go ahead and open it up. Okay, as you can see here on the label, Superman the movie, Superman 1/6 scale collectible figure. On the inside, you basically have everybody that was involved with the production of the figure. Got to give credit where credit is due. And right here on the box, it says, "In memory of Christopher Reeve," which is, I got to admit, it's pretty classy. And this is just simply a cardboard insert. You just slide it out, and there's the figure. To be honest with you, unless you have this in your possession, even if you're watching this video in 1080p, it doesn't do this figure justice. You've got to have it in your possession to really admire the craftsmanship and exactly how great that this figure looks. But before we get to the figure, let's go ahead and take a look at the display base. Now, you basically get two display stands with this figure. The first one, not very impressive, a simple stand. Of course, here it says Superman the movie. Then it has his nameplate, which is actually kind of redundant. It's got a stand, and it's got these two hooks, which are essentially a groin grabber, where you can cradle his crotch, as it were, on the hooks and get him into a standing position. And next up, we have the main display base. This is, of course, supposed to be representative of the Fortress of Solitude, and it is a brilliant display piece. The only problem is all of the crystal structures, you have to force them into the base. They're held in with friction, and sometimes they come loose, but they are very well made. They are very, to be honest with you, it's a beautiful display stand. It really is. So let me see if I can get a closer look at it for you. Okay, well, here's a closer look at it. As you can see, it's based in snow, and then it kind of goes up to a very nice translucent blue, and then turns into crystal. And this piece right over here, the black C-clamp, is used for holding him in a flying position or maybe a hovering position. But this is a very, very well made display base. It just looks a whole lot better if you're actually looking at it, to be honest with you. But it is an incredible piece. And here we are, back to the figure. Now, of course, as you can see, He comes with 2 extra sets of hands, an extra set of joints for his wrists, and right here in the middle where my finger is, that's where the kryptonite would go if this was part of the Sideshow collectible edition. But like I said, I'm not too worried about having the kryptonite. And here he is, Christopher Reeve as the Man of Steel. I'll tell you what, this is an incredible figure. This is actually my first Hot Toys figure, and if this is the standard quality, it's definitely not going to be my last. And to be honest with you, it's not going to be my last because I have 2 more coming in, but those will be later reviews. But let's go ahead and see if I can give you a really good head-to-toe shot of this figure so you can really get a good look at it, because this thing really looks incredible. I mean, this thing looks absolutely incredible. The detail is just phenomenal. I don't think I've ever seen any kind of figure that really had this kind of detail to it. The materials used in the costume are absolutely incredible. Okay, well, let's go ahead and take a look at the cape real quick. Now, along the edges, along both sides and at the bottom, there's actually a thin wire, and you can actually bend the wire to pose the cape. So if you put them in a flying position or a flying pose, you can actually bend the cape to make it look like it's flapping in the wind, which I think is a very cool feature. Now, of course, even if you pose it, the wire is eventually going to bend back to its original position, but it's just a very interesting feature for the cape to have. Now, one of the great things about this figure is that it has 20 points of articulation. Now, I'm not going to go through all 20, but the shoulders, the head, wrists, elbow, knees, waist, ankles, they're all posable. And so you can put them in a multitude of different positions. Now, I took some still photos, and I'll put them at the end of the video, just kind of some basic stuff to show you how he can be posed. And another interesting feature is the fact that he does come with extra sets of hands. Okay, now here's his right hand. Now, I've already gone ahead and I put one of the pegs into the spare hand, and all you simply have to do is you pull it out, hands gone, put the new one in, and there you go. That's all there is to it. So it's another very interesting feature of this figure, that you can swap out hands, put them in different poses. And I keep saying the word incredible, like I just can't stop saying it. This is an incredible figure, and if you're lucky enough to get one of these things, then you can usually find them on eBay, anywhere between $225, $275. The Sideshow edition usually goes for $325 and up. That's if you want the kryptonite, but for me it wasn't that big of a deal. So let me go ahead and set him up in his Fortress of Solitude display to really kind of really show this thing off for you. Okay, now with this stand, all you simply do is you have your C-clamp here that tightens with a Phillips head screwdriver. All you basically simply have to do, open it up, wraps around his waist like that, and then you can simply put him in different poses. And that's it. Superman 1/6 scale, as portrayed by Christopher Reeve and manufactured by Hot Toys. You really, if you're a collector, you've got to get this for your collection. It is probably the best likeness of Christopher Reeve I've ever seen on any kind of figure, and it is definitely well worth the money.